हेलो फ्रेंड्स। आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे सैम्पलिंग एंड मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ एयर पोल्यूटेंट्स। जो भी एयर पोल्यूटेंट्स है लाइक सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड, नाइट्रोजन डाइऑक्साइड, ओजोन, पार्टिकुलेट मैटर 10 और अमोनिया के बारे में आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय एयर पोल्यूशन? अकॉर्डिंग टू द एयर प्रिवेंशन एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ पोल्यूशन एक्ट 1981, the air pollution is defined as the presence of any solid, liquid and gaseous substances. इस बात का ध्यान रखिए, the presence of solid, liquid and gaseous substance in the atmosphere in such concentration, or we can say the concentration beyond the permissible limit that change the composition of atmosphere, or we can say the composition of atmosphere is harmful for the living beings, for the environment, for the plants, for the animals. So this situation known as air pollution. Okay. Or sometimes we also say any physical, chemical or biological changes in the quality of air that affect the living beings or our environment, called as air pollution. Okay. So the air pollutants may be solid, liquid and gaseous. Okay. So solid air pollutants क्या है? Like particulate matter, dust particles, soot particles, black carbon particles, they are the solid air pollutants. Liquid air pollutants क्या होते हैं? Aerosols. Gaseous air pollutants क्या होते हैं? Remaining all the pollutants are gaseous pollutants like oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, pan, ozone. All these are gaseous substances. Now the air pollutants. Okay. So air pollutants are the substances that are responsible for the air pollution. They are known as air pollutants. Okay. So WHO in 1999 defined the air pollutants as a substance that put into air by the activities of mankind, that known as anthropogenic activities or induced activities in such concentration which are sufficient to cause harmful effect to the human health, vegetation, property or interfere with the enjoyment of property. So these are known as air pollutants. So the air pollutants are classified into different categories according to their origin, according to their nature. Okay. But here we will discuss about two broad categories of the air pollutants, and these categories are primary air pollutants. Okay. And the second category is the secondary air pollutants. So primary air pollutants क्या होते हैं? The primary air pollutants are the pollutants that are directly emitted into the atmosphere. Okay. And the secondary air pollutants are not directly emitted into the atmosphere from any source. They are formed in the atmosphere in the presence of moisture, light and UV rays. ओके. जो भी प्राइमरी एयर पोल्यूटेंट्स होते हैं वो किसी सोर्स से रिलीज होते हैं, ठीक है, डायरेक्टली इन द एटमॉस्फेयर. और सेकेंडरी एयर पोल्यूटेंट्स क्या होते हैं? जब प्राइमरी एयर पोल्यूटेंट्स रिलीज हो जाते हैं एटमॉस्फेयर में, तो यही प्राइमरी पोल्यूटेंट्स सनलाइट की प्रेजेंस में, यूवी रेज की प्रेजेंस में, मॉइस्चर की प्रेजेंस में अदर पोल्यूटेंट्स का फॉर्मेशन करते हैं, और जो अदर पोल्यूटेंट्स हैं उन्हीं को हम सेकेंडरी पोल्यूटेंट्स कहते हैं. सो नाउ द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ प्राइमरी पोल्यूटेंट्स. सो एसेज फ्रॉम द वोल्केनिक इरप्शन. ओके. जो भी वोल्केनिक इरप्शन से जो भी गैसेज और जो भी एस का, जिसे फ्लाई एश कहते हैं, उसका इमिशन होता है, वो है प्राइमरी एयर पोल्यूटेंट्स. कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड, ऑक्साइड्स ऑफ नाइट्रोजन, NO, N2O, NO2, particulate matters, volatile organic carbons, chlorofluorocarbons, toxic metals. Some metals are directly emitted from the sources. Okay. Ammonia, radioactive pollutant. So these are the example of primary air pollutants. Now the examples of the secondary air pollutants are NO2, pan peroxyacetyl nitrate. Pan, the full form is pan is the peroxyacetyl nitrate. Okay, ground level ozone, or we can say ozone, photochemical smoke, aerosols and mist, and acid rain. So these are the example of the secondary pollutants. These pollutants are not directly emitted from the any source. They are formed in the atmosphere. Okay. Now the primary air pollutants, or we can say the sources that emit the primary air pollutants, they are easily manageable. Okay. Or but the management of the secondary air pollutants is not easy. Okay. Because there is no source of secondary air pollutants. Now that a term as NOx. So what do you mean by NOx? NOx means the oxides of nitrogen. Okay. NOx means क्या होता है? Oxides of nitrogen. But which oxide are included by the NOx? देखो इन जनरली क्या होता है कि NOx मीन्स ऑक्साइड्स ऑफ नाइट्रोजन. जितने भी ऑक्साइड्स होते हैं नाइट्रोजन के वो NOx के अंदर आते हैं. लेकिन मेनली दो ही जो ऑक्साइड्स हैं उन्हीं को NOx के अंदर काउंट किया जाता है. वो कौन से हैं? NO, नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड, and nitrogen dioxide NO and NO2. क्योंकि ऑलमोस्ट मोर देन 90% ऑक्साइड्स हैं, वो केवल ये दो ही ऑक्साइड्स होते हैं नाइट्रोजन के. इसीलिए नोक्स के अंदर NO प्लस NO2 को इंक्लूड किया जाता है. So NOx means NO plus NO2. Now the sampling of air pollutants. So जो भी gaseous air pollutants हैं उनका sampling basically थ्री प्रिंसिपल्स पे बेस्ड होता है. वो क्या क्या है? Adsorption, absorption and condensation. So let's discuss one by one. First one is the absorption. Okay. So the absorption में क्या होता है? Absorption is based on the principle of absorption of any gaseous pollutant into a liquid solvent. Okay. So the gaseous pollutants are absorbed in a solvent when both the pollutant and absorbent are in a close contact. Okay. या तो क्लोज कांटेक्ट में होते हैं या अपन क्या करते हैं गैसियस पोल्यूटेंट्स को ए सॉल्वेंट के अंदर से पास करते हैं, फ्लो करते हैं. सो जितना भी किसी एयर में जो भी गैसियस पोल्यूटेंट्स हैं वो पर्टिकुलर सॉल्वेंट के अंदर एब्जॉर्प्शन हो जाता है. सो द लिक्विड react with the gaseous pollutant to form the non gaseous pollutant. Okay. सो जनरली जो एल्केलाइन गैसेज होते हैं उनके लिए हम एसिडिक सॉल्यूशन, एब्जॉर्बिंग सॉल्यूशन का यूज लेते हैं. जो एल्केलाइन गैसेज होती हैं उनके लिए एसिडिक सॉल्यूशन का काम में लेते हैं. और जो ऑयल्स होते हैं, जो हाइड्रोकार्बन्स होते हैं उनके लिए हम ऑयल्स का यूज करते हैं एब्जॉर्प्शन के लिए. सो दिस इज एब्जॉर्प्शन सैंपलिंग. देन आफ्टर सेकंड वन इज द एडजॉर्प्शन सैंपलिंग. सो एडजॉर्प्शन इज ए सरफेस फिनोमिना. इसमें क्या भी है, कोई भी गैसियस पोल्यूटेंट के पार्टिकल वो किसी सॉलिड सरफेस के ऊपर उनका एडजॉर्प्शन हो जाता है. ठीक है. तो द गैसियस पोल्यूटेंट्स आर एडजॉर्ब्ड ऑन द सॉलिड सरफेस ऑफ एक्टिवेटेड कार्बन, सिलिका जेल, activated alumina and molecular sieve. Okay, so these are the compound or substances are used for the adsorption of the gaseous pollutants. Okay, as the surface area of these substances increase, the adsorption process is also going to increase. Now the third process is the condensation process. Okay, condensation क्या होता है? When कोई भी गैस और वेपर को हम क्या है लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट कर देते हैं तो इस फेज को हम क्या कहते हैं? कंडेंसेशन. ओके. सो कंडेंसेशन मेथड जनरली यूज फॉर द radioactive gases, hydrocarbons and non-reactive vapors. Okay, so air pollutants can be trapped by the condensation reaction as the gaseous pollutant pass through the different temperature range of condensers, where the temperature is below the boiling point of the gaseous pollutant will trap in the liquid. So likewise, we collect the air pollutant by the condensation process. So most of the air pollutants are collected or sampling of most of the air pollutants are done by the using of the absorption solutions. So absorption method mainly used for the sampling of the air pollutants. So जो अलग अलग एयर पोल्यूटेंट्स के लिए अलग अलग एब्जॉर्बिंग सॉल्यूशन का यूज किया जाता है, तो यहाँ हम देखते हैं कि सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड के लिए भी यूज है पोटेशियम टेट्राक्लोरोमर्क्यूरेट absorbing solution. For nitrogen dioxide, we use the alkaline arsenide, or we can say sodium hydroxide or sodium arsenide solution. For ozone, we use potassium iodide solution. For ammonia, we use the indophenol method. And for ammonia, we use the sulfuric acid. Okay. For ozone, we use the potassium iodide. For HCl, HF, and HBr, we use the sodium hydroxide. For chlorine, we use the methyl orange. For hydrogen sulfide, we use the cadmium hydroxide solution. And for the methanethiol CH3SS, that is known as methanethiol or methyl mercaptan. For this pollutants, we use the mercuric acetate as a absorbing solution. Okay. And for the particulate matter, we use the gravimetric method. Okay, gravimetric means the measurement or the calculation of the concentration of the particulate matter is calculated by the using of the on the weighing basis of the filter papers. Okay, for the PM10 we use the glass fiber filter paper. Okay, that we will discuss later on. Then after the chemical method for the toxic metal, suppose we want to analyze the heavy metal concentration or metal concentration in the air. For that, we use the filter. This is a filter paper based method, and the analysis of filter paper is carried out by the WS or ICP. So here in this slide, you can see the picture. This is the picture of the filter paper. This is the initial picture when the filter paper is not exposed to the air pollutants, and this is the final picture of the filter paper when the filter paper is exposed to the air pollutants. So here you can see the color change of the filter paper, and this is the top picture of the RDS respirable dust sampler where we place the glass fiber filter paper that we will discuss in the coming slides. So this is a very important table. Now the respirable dust sampler RDS. Okay, so the RDS is an instrument that is used for the sampling of the air pollutants like PM10, particulate matter 10, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, ammonia, and other pollutants. Okay, so here you can see this is the outer structure of the RDS, and this is the hood by which the RDS suck the air from atmosphere, and these air pass through the filter paper. Here is the we place the filter paper. Okay, you can see this is the a sieve on which we place the filter paper. So the air is passed through the filter paper. So whatever the particulate matter PM10 that is deposited on the this filter paper. Then after this air pass through the different type of the absorbing solution. So there is a attachment assembly. Okay, in attachment assembly, this is the attachment assembly, inner view of the attachment assembly, where there is a provision to keep the different almost 4 5 impingers. These are the glass type structure. These known as a impinger. Okay, these are the glass type structure that we use for the absorbing solutions. So we fill the absorbing solution. Suppose we want to sampling of sulfur dioxide. For the sulfur dioxide in one impinger, we fill the TCM solution. Suppose we want to measure the ozone. So for ozone, we fill the potassium iodide solution. Likewise, we fill the four different absorbing solution. Then the air pass through these absorbing solution. Okay, and these absorbing solution absorb the particular air pollutants. After the particular time, we run the RDS for particular time at least minimum 4 hours and maximum up to 24 hours. Then after we collect the absorbing solution and we analyze the concentration of different air pollutants in the atmosphere. So here you can see in this image there are two type of impingers we use. One is the transparent glass type, okay, and the another one is the this is a amber colored glass impinger. So the amber colored glass impinger generally we use for the oxidants, photochemical oxidants like ozone and other pollutants, because these pollutants are sensitive in the presence of the sunlight. So to avoid their degradation in the presence of sunlight, we use the amber colors glass impingers, and for the remaining gases we use the transparent glass impingers. सो अब हम डिस्कस करेंगे सैम्पलिंग एंड एनालिसिस ऑफ सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड इन एम्बिएंट एयर। सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड का सैम्पलिंग कैसे करते हैं, उसका एनालिसिस कैसे करते हैं। सो इसके लिए हम यूज में लेते हैं इम्प्रूव्ड वेस्ट एंड गाइके मेथड। ओके, सो दिस वन द इम्प्रूव्ड वेस्ट एंड गाइके मेथड we use for the sampling and analysis of the sulfur dioxide in ambient air. So what is the principle of waste and guide method? So when the for this method for the sulfur dioxide we using a absorbing solution, and what is the name of absorbing solution? TCM, potassium tetrachloromercurate. Okay, this is the absorbing solution. We fill this solution in the impingers, then we pass the air through this solution. So whatever sulfur dioxide present in the air, that is absorbed by this solution. Okay, when this sulfur dioxide absorbed by the solution, it forms a complex compound. Okay, and what is the name of this complex compound? The dichlorosulfito-mercurate complex. Okay, डाइक्लोरोसल्फेटो-मर्क्यूरेट कॉम्प्लेक्स, ये एक स्टेबल कॉम्प्लेक्स होता है, स्टेबल कॉम्प्लेक्स कंपाउंड होता है जो कि ऑक्सीडेंट्स और ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन से इसका डिग्रेडेशन नहीं होता है, जैसे अदर स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑक्सीडेंट लाइक ओजोन, other oxides of nitrogen, they are present in the atmosphere, so they will not affect or they will not change the chemical composition of this complex compound. Then after we add the pararojaniline and formaldehyde in this solution, in this complex we add, हम क्या करते हैं, pararojaniline and formaldehyde को add करते हैं. Then after they again form a intentionally colored complex compound, that is pararojaniline. Okay, pararojaniline methyl sulfonic acid. पैरारोजेनिलिन मिथाइल सल्फोनिक एसिड इस कॉम्प्लेक्स कंपाउंड का फॉर्मेशन होता है जिस इंटेंस कलर होता है, और इसी कॉम्प्लेक्स कंपाउंड की कलर इंटेंसिटी को स्पेक्ट्रोफोटोमीटर पे 560 नैनोमीटर पे हम एब्जॉर्बेंस का मेजरमेंट करते हैं। ठीक है, सो द कलर इंटेंसिटी इज मेजर्ड बाय द स्पेक्ट्रोफोटोमीटर at 560 nanometers. So this is the principle of waste and Geiger method. Okay, the sulfur dioxide react with the TCM solution, then form a complex compound, that is dichlorosulfito-mercurate. Then after we add the pararojaniline and formaldehyde to form a intensely colored pararojaniline methyl sulfonic acid. Okay, and the color intensity or absorbance of this solution is measured by the spectrophotometer at 560 nanometer. Now the what are the chemicals, कौन कौन से chemical हैं वो सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड के सैम्पलिंग और एनालिसिस के लिए काम में आते हैं. और वी कैन से व्हाट आर द केमिकल्स दैट आर यूज इन द वेस्ट एंड गायके मेथड. सो दीज आर द लिस्ट ऑफ केमिकल्स like distilled waters, mercury chloride, potassium chloride, EDTA solution, absorbing reagent, sulfamic acid, formaldehyde, purified pararosinylene stock solution, pararosinylene working solution, stock iodine solution, starch indicator, potassium iodate, and stock sodium thiosulfate solution. So these are the chemicals used in this method. Now the sampling procedure. How we are going for sampling of the sulfur dioxide. So here your right hand side you can see this structure known as impinger. Okay. So we fill the 30 ml. There is a marking on this impinger. Okay. 5 ml, 10 ml, 15 ml, 20 ml, 25 ml and 30 ml. So likewise there is a marking. So we fill the 30 ml of absorbing solution in this impinger, then we pass the air through this solution. Okay, so whatever sulfur dioxide present in the air is absorbed by this solution, and the flow rate of air we fix at 1 liter per minute. Okay, so this is the flow rate that we fix in the respirable dust sampler, 1 liter per minute. Okay, after sampling, measure the volume of sample and transfer to a storage bottle for further analysis. Now the analysis of sulfur dioxide. So in impinger, initially we fill the 30 ml water. Okay, so how much amount we fill of absorbing solution? 30 ml. So due to evaporation, some amount of absorbing solution is evaporated due to high temperature along with the air, whatever air we are going to flow through the absorbing solution. So suppose we fill the 30 ml of absorbing solution. So 5 ml is evaporated. So remaining amount is the 35 ml. Okay. So first of all what we do, सबसे पहले क्या करते हैं, वापिस वॉल्यूम मेकअप करते हैं अगेन 30 ml और इसमें क्या ऐड करते हैं, डिस्टिल वाटर. ओके, so we add the distilled water and again make up the 30 ml volume. Then after we mix properly, then after we pipette out the 10 ml of this absorbing solution in the a 25 ml of the volumetric flask. Then in the principle I told you, first of all we add 1 ml of 0.6% sulfamic acid. Okay, and we keep the solution for 10 minutes to properly reaction, for proper reaction, so that whatever other pollutants or other oxidant or oxides of the nitrogen present in the that solution, they are going to destroy. Okay, so we keep for the 10 minutes. So there is an important question sometime in exams they ask, what is the role of sulfamic acid? So sulfamic acid destroy the nitrite resulting from the oxides of the nitrogen in the solution. Then after we add 10 ml of 2% formaldehyde solution and 2 ml of pararosinylene solution and make up the volume 25 ml with the distilled water. Okay, along with this sample we also prepare a blank, in which blank we use the fresh absorbing solution, then we repeat the same procedure. Okay, then we keep the both the solutions for 30 minutes for the color development. After 30 minutes, but before 60 minutes we go for analysis for before 60 minutes. We should not keep more than 1 hour. Okay, then after we take the absorbance through the spectrophotometer at 560 nanometers. So this is the formula for the concentration calculation of the sulfur dioxide in microgram per cubic meter. Okay, so concentration is equal to absorbance of sample, absorbance of the blank solution, then after calibration factor multiply Vs. Vs is the volume of sample divided by Va. What is Va? Va is the volume of air sampled and multiply by Vt. Vt is the volume of liquid taken for the analysis. So the concentration factor, that is also known as graph factor. Okay, here you can see this is calculated by the drawing a graph or curve in between the absorbance and concentration. So it is equal to the slope when we 1 is divided by the slope, that is equal to the graph factor or calibration factor. The volume of air is sample, that is calculated by the average flow rate and what time taken, means हमने RDS को कितने टाइम के लिए चलाया, एंड एवरेज फ्लो रेट मीन्स इनिशियली हमने 1 लीटर पर मिनट फिक्स की और हमने RDS को कितना 10 घंटे के लिए चलाया, ठीक है, 10 आवर्स। जब हम RDS को 10 घंटे बाद में बंद करते हैं, स्विच ऑफ करते हैं, देन आफ्टर वी अगेन मेजर द फ्लो रेट, सपोज फ्लो रेट इज 0.8 लीटर पर मिनट, देन वी टुक द एवरेज 1 plus 0.8 divided by 2, that is equal to 0.9 liter per minute. So this is the average flow rate and time taken is 10 hours. Okay, likewise we calculate the concentration of sulfur dioxide in the samples. Now the next method is the modified Jacob and Heuscher method. Okay, so this is the Jacob and Heuscher method. This method is used for the sampling and analysis of nitrogen dioxide in ambient air. So this method is used for nitrogen dioxide. Okay, so for the nitrogen dioxide we using the absorbing solution. It is a mixture of the sodium hydroxide and sodium arsenide. Okay, so we pass the air through the mixture of these the solution of the sodium hydroxide and sodium arsenide. Okay, then after we add phosphoric acid, sulfanilamide and N1-naphthyl ethylene diamine dihydrochloride, in short NADA. We add these three solutions, NADA, phosphoric acid and sulfanilamide. Then we measure the absorbance through the spectrophotometer at 540 nanometer. By the reaction of these chemicals, there is a formation of a colored azodye formation take place, and the color intensity or absorbance of this color we measure by the spectrophotometer at 540 nanometer. Okay, so absorbing solution is prepared by the dissolving the 4 gram of the sodium hydroxide in distilled water, add 1 gram of sodium arsenide and dilute to 1 liter with the distilled water. Now the reagent and chemical, these are the list of different chemicals and reagents, okay, that are used for the analysis of the nitrogen dioxide. Okay, now the sampling of nitrogen dioxide from the air. Okay, here your right hand side you can see this is the impinger. In impinger we will fill the absorbing solution 30 ml. And what is the absorbing solution? It is a mixture of sodium hydroxide and sodium arsenide. Okay, and we fix the flow rate of RDS from 0.2 to 1 liter per minute. In the case of SO2, the flow rate was 1 liter per minute, and in the case of nitrogen dioxide, we set the flow rate in between 0.2 to 1 liter per minute. Here you can see. Okay, now the analysis. Okay, so the first one is that we replace the water lost by the evaporation. So whatever amount of the absorbing solution is that is lost by the evaporation, then we add the distilled water, again we make up the volume 30 ml. Okay, then after we take out the 10 ml of this absorbing solution into 50 ml volumetric flask, then after we add 1 ml of hydrogen peroxide, 10 ml of sulfanilamide and 1.4 ml of NADA solution. Okay, and make up the volume 50 ml by adding the distilled water. Then by the same process we prepare a blank solution. In blank solution we use the fresh absorbing solution plus we add these chemicals or solutions that we are added in the sample solution. After the 10 minutes, then we keep this solution for 10 minutes for the color development. After the 10 minutes, we record the absorbance with the spectrophotometer at 540 nanometer. Now this is the formula for calculation of the concentration of the nitrogen dioxide. So this is the absorbance of solution minus absorbance of blank concentration factor, that is also known graph factor Vs. This is the volume of sample divided by Va. This is the volume of air. Vt is the volume of a liquid taken multiply by 0.82. So this is 0.82. This is the efficiency, sampling efficiency. The sampling efficiency of this method is 82%. That why we multiply this formula by 0.82. Now the next method is the buffered potassium iodide method. This is the buffered potassium iodide method, and the buffered potassium iodide method is used for the analysis and sampling of the ozone in the ambient air. Now the principle of this method. Okay, so for the sampling of ozone, we use the 1% solution of potassium iodide as a absorbing solution, and the pH of the solution should be 6.8 plus minus 0.2. Okay, so we should take care of the pH of the solution. Then after we took the reading through the spectrophotometer at 352 nanometer. Okay, and this is the reaction, how the ozone react with potassium iodide solution. Okay, then when the potassium iodide react with ozone, they form the triiodide ions, and we took the absorbance of these ions through the spectrophotometer at 352 nanometer. Now the chemicals. For the sampling and analysis of ozone, we use the distilled water. Okay. Then after the absorbing solution, 1% solution of potassium iodide and the Stokes solution of iodide and the solution of iodine. Now the sampling of ozone. Okay, so right hand side you can see this is the impinger. So for the sampling of the ozone, we fill 10 ml of absorbing solution in the impinger, and absorbing solution is the potassium iodide. In the case of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, we fill the 30 ml of the absorbing solution. But in the case of the ozone, we fill the 10 ml of the absorbing solution, and we use the umbered colored color impinger. Okay, glass impinger. And we set the flow at 1 liter per minute. Now the analysis. If some amount is evaporated, then we again make up the volume by adding the distilled water. Okay. Then we go for the reading. Okay. We should take the reading from 30 minutes to 60 in within the 30 minutes to 60 minutes after the sample collection, and we record the reading at 352 nanometer. Okay, through the spectrophotometer. Now this is the formula for the calculation of the concentration of ozone. This is the absorbance of sample minus absorbance of blank. This is the concentration factor multiplied by 1.962. This is a conversion factor. Okay, from microliter to microgram, and divided by Va. This is the volume of air. So this is formula we use for the calculation for the concentration of ozone. Okay, now the sampling and analysis of ammonia in the ambient air. Ammonia is NS3. So for the ammonia sampling, we use the indophenol method. Now the principle of this method. Okay, for the sampling of ammonia, we use a dilute solution of sulfuric acid as a absorbing solution. ओके सो इस मेथड में हम क्या लेते हैं, सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड एज ए एब्जॉर्बिंग सॉल्यूशन यूज में लेते हैं. व्हेन द एयर इज पासिंग थ्रू द sulfuric acid solution, so whatever ammonia present there, that ammonia react with the sulfuric acid and form the, okay, so ammonia react with the sulfuric acid H2SO4 and for the ammonium sulfate. Okay, then after in this ammonium sulfate we add phenol plus sodium hypochlorite. Okay, when we add the phenol and sodium hypochlorite, they form a blue dye, that is the indophenol blue dye. And what is the name of blue dye? That is the indophenol. And then after we took the reading with the help of a spectrophotometer at 630 nanometer. Okay, sometime to accelerate or to fasten up this reaction, we add the sodium nitroprusside as a catalyst. Okay, so again this is a important line. So now these are the different chemicals that are used for the sampling as well as for the analysis of the ammonia in the ambient air. So you read by one all the chemicals and reagents. Now the sampling. For the ammonia sampling, we fill the 10 ml of the absorbing solution or 10 ml of the sulfuric acid solution in the impinger. Okay, and we set the flow rate from 1 to 2 liter per minute. Now the analysis of the ammonia in the ambient air. So then after we transfer the 10 ml of the absorbing solution into a 25 ml of cylinder. Okay. Then we also prepare a reagent solution by adding 2 ml of buffer, 5 ml of the working phenol solution and mix. Okay. Then fill 20 ml of the distilled water. Then we add 2.5 ml of the working hypochlorite solution and mix rapidly. Dilute to 25 ml, mix and store to in the dark for 30 minutes for the color development. Okay, solution after adding the phenol and a hypochlorite solution, we keep this solution for the 30 minutes in the dark for the color development. After the color development take place, then we measure the absorbance of the solution by the spectrophotometer at 630 nanometer. Okay, now this is the formula for the ammonia concentration calculation. This is the absorbance of sample minus absorbance of blend in multiply by concentration factor multiply volume of the final volume of the sample divided by volume of air sample into volume of liquid taken for the analysis. Now the sampling and analysis of the particulate matter 10 PM10 in ambient air. For the PM10 we use the gravimetric method. Okay, now the principle of gravimetric method, जो भी कोई ग्रेविमेट्रिक मेथड होती है उसमें क्या इनिशियल और फाइनल वेट के बेसिस पे सारी कैलकुलेशन होती है. सो फॉर दिस मेथड वी यूज द ग्लास फाइबर फिल्टर पेपर. Glass fiber filter paper. Okay, and the size of glass fiber filter paper is 10 inch into 8 inch into 10 inch. Okay, so this is the standard size, 10 in 8 inch into 10 inch. Okay, so all the particles that are adhere on the upper surface of this filter paper, they collected and finally we took the weight of the filter paper along with the particulate matter. So in this method we took the initial weight of the filter paper. Okay, so initial weight of the filter paper, that is the W initial. Then after we took the final weight of the filter paper, WF. So this is the a fresh filter paper and this is the filter paper with the particulate matter. So initial minus final. So the final weight is always more than the initial weight. Now the analysis. Okay. First of all, we keep the filter paper in the desiccator. So this is the filter paper and the size is 8 inch by 10 inch. Okay. So first of all, for 24 hours, we keep the filter paper into the desiccator. So whatever moisture present in the filter paper, that is absorbed by the silica gel, and then after 24 hours after, we take the reading of this filter paper, that is the W initial. Okay, then we keep this filter paper in the RDS and we run the RDS for 24 hours maximum, and maybe below than this. Then after 24 hours we remove the filter paper. Again we keep the filter paper into the desiccator for the removal of the moisture present in the filter paper. Then after we took the reading, that is the W final. Okay, so on the basis of W initial and W final, we calculate the weight of particulate matters in the ambient air. So here you can see these are this is the initial filter paper. Okay, this is the pure white filter paper. There is no particulate matter deposition, and this, okay, this is the initial, and this is the after filter paper. That is the air is passed through this filter paper. So you can see the deposition of the particulate matter on this filter paper. By seeing the color, you can identify the filter paper or particulate matter on the filter papers. So this is the WF, this is the final weight of the filter paper. Now this is the formula for the PM10 calculation in the ambient air, microgram per cubic meter. So the W final minus W initial multiplied by 10 to power 6 divided by V. V is the volume of air sampled, and this formula is multiplied by 10 to power 6 as a conversion. This is a conversion factor from gram to microgram. Okay. So this formula used for the calculation of the concentration of PM10. Okay, now we summarize all the methods and their specific absorbing solutions. So the first pollutant is the SO2. For SO2, the absorbing solution is the potassium tetrachloromercurate solution we use as a absorbing solution. The name of method is the modified West and Geek method, and we measure the wavelength of the solution at 560 nanometer. For the nitrogen dioxide, we use sodium hydroxide and sodium arsenite as a absorbing solution, and the name of method is modified Jacob and Heuscher method, and we measure the reading at 540 nanometer. For the ozone, we use 1% solution of potassium iodide as a absorbing solution. This is a chemical method, and we took the reading at 352 nanometer. Then after for PM10 we use a glass fiber filter paper. This is not absorbing solution, this is a filter paper, and name of method is the gravimetric method. Then after ammonia, for ammonia we use the diluted sulfuric acid solution. The name of method is the indophenol method, and we read the reading by the spectrophotometer at 630 nanometer. So this is very important table. You keep in your mind. Many times directly questions, they are coming from the exams. Now this is the table of the National Ambient Air Quality Standards NASQ 2009. Okay, so we already in one video we already discussed about this table, but this is again very important table. Okay, so here you can see for all the air pollutants there are two type of category of the standards. For the industrial, residential and rural area, there is a one column, and for the ecological sensitive zone, there is the another column. And the range of the standard given based on the basis of annual basis as well as for 24 hours basis. Okay. And these are the in last column, these are the methods generally used for the measurement of the that particular pollutants. Like in the case of sulfur dioxide, we use the waste and Geiger method and UV fluorescence. Okay. For the in the case of nitrogen dioxide, we use Jacob and Oyster method and gas phase chemiluminescence method. In the case of PM10, we use gravimetric TOEM and beta attenuation method. Same method are also used in the case of PM2.5. In the case of ozone, we use the UV photometric chemiluminescence and chemical method. For lead, we use the ICP-OSS and XRD along with the Teflon filter. So these are the different pollutants, they are the method of measurement and their ambient air quality standard on the basis of annual basis and as well as 24-hour basis. Then after the carbon monoxide, ammonia, benzene, benzoylpyrene, arsenic and nickel. So you read this table very carefully. This is very important table. Okay. According to the CPCB, the National Ambient Air Quality Standards given by the CPCB. So for the annual basis, there should be at least one note for 104 measurement. One note for measurement in a year should be for particular air pollutant. अगर हम किसी भी पोल्यूटेंट्स के लिए एनुअल बेसिस पे अगर कोई स्टैंडर्ड डेवलप करते हैं या कंपैरिजन करते हैं तो उसके लिए मिनिमम वन नोट फॉर 104 मेजरमेंट होनी चाहिए एक साल में, मीन्स 365 डेज में 365 डेज में वन नोट फोर मेजरमेंट होने चाहिए और एटलीस्ट ट्वाइस ए वीक. ओके, एक वीक में कितने? दो, 24 आवरली बेसिस. ओके, आरडीएस को 24 घंटे के लिए सप्ताह में 2 बार रन करके एटलीस्ट 2 रीडिंग लेनी चाहिए. सप्ताह के बेसिस पे 2 रीडिंग और एनुअली 1 नोट 4 रीडिंग शुड बी देयर. The RDS can be run 24 hours basis, 8 hour basis and 1 hour basis. Okay, according to the requirement. Now WHO air quality standards. So the World Health Organization listed 6 air pollutants, or we can say the WHO provide the standards for 6 air pollutants like PM2.5, PM10, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide. Initially the WHO gave the air quality guidelines in 2005. Then after they revised these guidelines in 2021. Okay, after 16 years they revised the air quality guidelines. So here you can see the values of what is the value in 2005 and what is the value in 2021. तो आप यहाँ पे ध्यान रखिए कि किस टाइप का क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछा जा रहा है. तो क्वेश्चन को ध्यान से पढ़े कि क्वेश्चन में कौन से स्टैंडर्ड पूछे गए हैं, 2005 से रिलेटेड है या 2021 से रिलेटेड है. ठीक है. So these are the annual standards. Here you can see the both annual and 24-hour basis standards for the PM2.5, for PM10, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxides. So again, this is a very important table. So friends, now we are going to discuss some important questions related to this topic. So the first question, the location of air quality monitoring station depend on. Okay, so the air quality monitoring station की जो लोकेशन है वो किस चीज पे डिपेंड करती है. चलिए ऑप्शन देखते हैं. फर्स्ट वन इज द स्टेक हाइट. यस, डिपेंड ऑन द स्टेक हाइट, wind speed, wind direction and rainfall. So the stake height is the most important parameter, okay, for the location of the air quality monitoring station. So the right answer is the first one, stake height. Next question, how many measurements should be taken for the sampling of PM 2.5 in a year? जैसा कि हमने नेशनल एम्बिएंट एयर क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स, जिनको अपन कहते हैं नास्क, NAAA, नेशनल एयर एम्बिएंट एयर क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड 2009, given by CPCB. So according to these standards, in a year, मतलब in 65 days, there at least should be 104. एक साल में एटलीस्ट मिनिमम 104 रिकॉर्डिंग होनी चाहिए एनुअल स्टैंडर्ड्स के लिए, ठीक है। सो चाहे वो कोई भी पोल्यूटेंट हो, सो फॉर PM 2.5 द राइट आंसर इज द 104. Now the next question, how many measurements should be taken for the sampling of SPM, suspended particulate matter? Again the right answer is 104. चाहे कोई सा भी पोल्यूटेंट्स हो उसके लिए 104 मिनिमम मेजरमेंट रिक्वायरमेंट है फॉर एनुअल स्टैंडर्ड्स. Now the next question, how many measurements should be taken for sampling of any air pollutant in a year? So again the right answer is 104. So any pollutants means it may be carbon monoxide, it may be suspended particulate matter, it may be PM 10 and 2.5, okay. It may be SO2, it may be NO2, it may be lead, it may be nickel, okay. So all these pollutants, it may be ozone. The VOC should be monitored at least how many times in a year, okay. So for VOCs, so generally the VOCs are not included in the National Ambient Air Quality Standards. Okay, VOC means volatile organic carbons. So for VOCs, at least 2 times in a year. In 1 year, 2 times. एक साल में VOCs के लिए मिनिमम 2 बार मॉनिटरिंग होनी चाहिए, और 2 बार कब होनी चाहिए? एक बिफोर मानसून एंड 1 सेकंड रिकॉर्डिंग द आफ्टर मानसून, प्री मानसून एंड पोस्ट मानसून, okay. So the right answer is that twice. So now you can see the explanation. The total volatile organic compound VOCs and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon PAH should be monitored at least twice in a year, pre-monsoon and post-monsoon. Now the next question. State gaseous emission for the parameter should be carried out. State gaseous emission for parameter should be carried out. The right answer is the quarterly basis. Quarterly means after each 3 months, means in 1 year 4 times. Okay. So स्टेक गैस इमिशन, जो भी चिमनी और स्टेक से गैसियस पोल्यूटेंट्स का इमिशन होता है, उन पैरामीटर को एटलीस्ट हर 3 महीने से एक बार उनकी मॉनिटरिंग होनी चाहिए, तो क्वार्टरली बेसिस. नाउ द नेक्स्ट वन, which of the following stake emission has to be monitored continuously? So अभी हमने देखा कि स्टेक से जो गैसियस पोल्यूटेंट हैं उनकी मॉनिटरिंग एटलीस्ट क्वार्टरली होनी चाहिए. और कौन से, इस क्वेश्चन में ये पूछा गया कि कौन से पोल्यूटेंट्स हैं जिनकी मॉनिटरिंग रेगुलर होनी चाहिए. तो आप एक्सप्लेनेशन में देख सकते हैं कि द ऑक्साइड्स ऑफ सल्फर, ऑक्साइड्स ऑफ नाइट्रोजन, HCl एंड कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, इनकी मॉनिटरिंग रेगुलर होनी चाहिए, ठीक है. द कंटिन्यूअस मॉनिटरिंग शुड बी. सो HCl, carbon monoxide, SOx, all. So right answer is the all the above. Now the next question, the air quality monitoring station should be degree around the common hazardous waste treatment, storage and disposal facilities. In short, they known TSDF. Okay, the common hazardous waste treatment, storage and disposal facilities. सो ये जो फैसिलिटीज हैं इनके कितनी डिग्री पे एयर क्वालिटी मॉनिटरिंग स्टेशन होना चाहिए? सो द राइट आंसर इज द 120 डिग्री, थर्ड वन. ओके, so the you can see the explanation. The air quality monitoring station at upwind, downwind and at three stations at 120 degree angle around the hazardous waste treatment, storage and disposal facilities. Who was the first scientist to coin the term smoke? Smoke term सबसे पहले किसने दिया था? So the right answer is the Henry Anthony. Henry Anthony first time given the term smoke. Smoke क्या होता है? Smoke is equal to smoke plus fog. So the word smoke and G, smoke. And smoke, the generally the smoke is two type, photochemical smoke and second one is the reduced smoke or London smoke. सो फ्रेंड्स, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो. अगले वीडियो में फिर मिलते हैं, तब तक के लिए नमस्कार.